Have any of you guys heard of this game before called Kick the Buddy? Because I sure as God hope I'm not the only one. And actually, I would say you're quite lucky if you haven't heard of it before, because it isn't a normal and tame game by any means. It is by far one of the worst games that I've ever come across in my life, and I absolutely condemn its existence. I hope you all can agree with me on this one, because no sane person or any reasonable person would think about or consider playing it. It is a game which is reserved for the most despicable of individuals, and I absolutely can't fathom how it was created or even why it was created to begin with. I'm extremely baffled as to how it even exists, and how this pathetic excuse and waste of data of a game was able to be released for people to actually play. Now, it is by no means a popular game, and many games are bad with negative ratings mainly because they're shit and low in quality, but Kick the Buddy is a game which is the next level of bad, which bypasses all the boundaries of sanity and light. Basically, what happens in the game is that there's this doll guy whose name is Buddy, and he's just doing his thing by going about his day and enjoying his life, and it's all fun and games for him until you download and start playing the game. He thinks nothing of you at first and thinks you're an average person, but it isn't until you begin hurting him with the weapon available to you in a slot with many others locked. And the aim of the game is to literally cause him harm with the weapon to earn money, and then with that money you use it to buy more weapons to do the exact same thing to him over and over again. The game is all about giving some innocent little doll man hell, and it just ends up an endless cycle of torture for him from which he can never be freed from. And he doesn't die, if you're wondering. His suffering unfortunately doesn't end when you torture and hurt him too much, but he does get knocked out when you harm him too much, and then he wakes up only to be further tortured and assaulted by the player for the rest of eternity. As you can probably tell from what I've described, it's a torture game which is completely fucked up and horrendous, and you'd have to be extremely insane or mentally ill to want to play it. May I ask what Buddy, that little doll, ever did to the people who play it? What exactly did he do to deserve this? Why do they keep relentlessly hurting this little guy who never had an issue with them and has absolutely nothing to do with them? He's just trying to enjoy his life, and you're coming and destroying it by harming him. Anyone who plays the game or thinks it's fun is completely sadistic, and it's a game that only a psychopath or a sadist would play. And I'm sure the creator of the game had some kind of sexual and emotional gratification to offer to the players to give them the fucked up stimulation for their own twisted pleasures. Not only that, but it's not the only game of its kind, and the games Kick the Boss and Smash Dude are some games like it where you do the exact same thing to a doll and a man, and they're just as bad. But I'm sure you all who are watching can understand that it's a very terrible game, and that you should never play it or ever consider playing it. There's absolutely no reason for it to exist, and it has no place in society for all us folks in normality to be playing. It's just a completely nasty and horrendous game, and we should never accept it into the gaming community for anybody to play. Never play it. Please avoid the game at all costs. But if you do play it or are thinking about wanting to play it, please uninstall it and go get some psychiatric help. And for the rest of you, let's band together and boycott this game before it manages to suck us all in and turn us to the dark side. Thanks for listening to this message, and now I'm off to do some stuff.